Hey everybody, this is Stephen Boylston with The Social Grain. We're back again for another episode of Baking with the Bees. Today, I've got my helper back and we're going to be making himbasha. Himbasha is a bread from Eritrea and it's typically eaten as a celebration. Okay, Zara, thank you. It's typically eaten with celebration and it's enjoyed with shahi tea or during a boon ceremony. Today we're just going to make it. We don't have shahi here right now or the coffee to enjoy a boon ceremony. But either way, we're going to make it and try our best. I got the recipe from Febin and Azib. If you all have not heard the interview or watched it, whether it's on the podcast or YouTube, I encourage everybody to go watch it. They get into himbasha a little bit as well as injera. And yeah, let's go. First thing we're going to do, we measured all the ingredients out already, so Zara and I are going to dissolve the yeast. We just have a little bit of water. Yes, good job. And we take a teaspoon of yeast. Can you pour that in there? Good job. Teaspoon of yeast. And this recipe calls for sugar as well to help to speed up the yeasting process or the bubbling. And you can see it's starting to bubble already. So Zara, now we got to mix it. Let's mix it a little bit. So if we mix it around. Good job. You can see the bubbles start to form, and I'll show you guys in a second. We mix that, we let it sit for a little while so that the yeast can activate. Ready? Say action. Can you say action? Yeah, you don't have to pick up the board. So the yeast has been sitting for about 10 minutes, so we've let it activate, and we had sugar in it, so now it's cloudy, and you can keep mixing it. That's good, Zara, thank you. Next step is we're going to pour the flour in there and create the dough. So this is 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Let's go ahead and put that in there. Pour it in there. Good job. You don't need me. You know what you're doing. This is when the sous chef becomes the lead chef. And we don't mix it just yet. We put a little bit of salt on top. So here, look, we're going to take a pinch of salt. Can you take a pinch of salt? There you go. Good job. You're a great salt pincher. Yep, get all the salt off your fingers. Then we've got milk. So this is again soy milk. We're going to pour a little bit of milk in here, and I'm going to help you, Zara, with this one. Pour a little bit of milk in here, not a whole lot. So you ready? Mix. We mix with our hands. I like to mix with my hands anytime I make dough, just because you can get a feel for it. When you use a spoon, you lose a lot of that filling. So we put a little bit too much water in here when we were initially making it. So we'll just keep mixing it. You don't want to mix it too much. You want to mix it until all the ingredients kind of form together. If you can still feel clumps, then you need to keep mixing it. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit more flour, which I have. That's what happens. So Zara, if you, oh, jeez, thank you. Look at your hand. So I'm going to put a little bit more flour. Ooh. This is all part of baking, Zara, is that you got to make sure you get it right ahead of time, even if you mess up a little bit. Otherwise, when you put it in the oven, you'll never see it, and it'll just turn out bad. And you're just playing with the wet dough. So here, let's keep mixing it a little bit. Let's make our dough into a ball. Once our dough becomes an actual ball, we'll let it sit for about an hour, and then it'll rise. So you see how it's getting thicker now. You guys may not be able to see that, but it's getting a little bit thicker than it was before, which is good. So crisis averted. Zara, good job. Which is a common theme. A lot of breads are very similar to make. It's just flour, water, salt, yeast, and then sometimes a few extra things. So in this case, we put sugar. We're going to put some olive oil. We're going to put some, we're actually going to use craisins, which is what we had instead of raisins that they suggested. Ooh, that shirt's getting dirty. Maybe we need like a bib or something for you next time. Oh, sorry, no, don't put that down. There's going to be a lot of cleanup that needs to happen after this. I think I probably should have read the instructions again a little bit better. But either way, it's okay. So it's becoming a ball. It's a little sticky still, but that's okay. What we're going to do We'll let it sit. As it sits, it should rise and it should form into exactly what we need it to form into. Is that funny? I don't know what she's done, but she's done it. So with that, that's our dough. We're gonna let that sit for about an hour. I'm gonna cover that up with probably some plastic or a towel or something and let it sit. And then we'll come back to it in about an hour. And hopefully it should be about twice the size of what it is right now. It should be very fluffy. It should be very light. And during that time, it's sort of proofing and sitting. So it'll have air pockets building inside of it because of the yeast. So we'll do that. We got to get cleaned up a little bit, and then we'll be back in about an hour. It's been about an hour. Our dough has risen some. It's still pretty wet, but we'll see how that goes. Our dough's risen some. So what we're going to do now is take it out, and we're going to start shaping it a little bit. Hold on, sorry. We're going to start shaping it a little bit, and you can see once we get it on the board how big it is. What's going to happen is it's not going to be super thick just because of the way that we made it, but we'll shape it a little bit and knead it, and then once we go to cooking, you can see the air pockets inside of it. Once we go to cook it, it'll basically stay flat for the most part inside the skillet. So let's go ahead and do that. And you can see that she had to change her clothes because we got super messy last time. So now, since this dough is not necessarily formed properly, we got to try to play with it. Yeah, you got dough on your fingers. Good job. So we're just going to play around with this, see if we can't fix it up a little bit. Where's my thing? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So now I'm just kind of folding it all over on itself. It's very sticky since it's this wet, but that's okay. And then after we fold it,
Steven, she's eating it.
Oh, don't eat it, Zara. Dang it. We'll preheat the oven. The oven's got to be at 350. Once the oven's preheated and this sits for about 20 minutes, then we're going to put it inside the skillet. We're going to brush it with olive oil. We'll decorate it, put little circles, spirals in it, and then let it cook for 20 minutes. And I think that's going to be it. But I guess we'll see how it goes. All right, that's it for now. We'll be back in a little bit. Thank you. All right, so before we put it in the oven's preheating right now. We're going to put some craisins in there. Typically, they'll put raisins or different spices, things like that. But for this one, we're going to try craisins just because we had it in the pantry. So, sorry, I'm going to give you some here. And put those in here. No, don't eat it. Sorry. Put them inside the dough. Here, look. Look, see, we put it in the dough and we'll push it down. Well, she's just gonna eat them while I put these inside the dough. There you go. We'll push them down. I think I was supposed to mix this in with the dough, but this is okay too. You take that, brush, 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 just like that. Good job. While you're eating the craisins, you say night night. Okay, so we're gonna keep playing with this olive oil apparently, and then we'll go to sleep for a little bit, and then by the time she wakes up, we'll have freshly made himbasha to hopefully enjoy if it turns out okay. All right, taste tester's awake. She's trying the bread out. What do you think? Yummy. It's himbashas or our version of it at least. Definitely is not like the real deal, but we try it in order to honor the culture. This is our spin on it. So I encourage everybody to look it up. Look up himbasha and the meaning of it, the importance to the Eritrean culture, because I know it's a very important part of their cuisine. What we did today was just trying to scratch the surface, right? Just trying to at least showing appreciation and introduced Zara to the bread. And she likes it. But now she's trying to play with the dog and give the dog some. So, gotta go. Alright, can you say bye, Zara? You say bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.